as a father, I think sometimes, rarely, very rarely, you don't do it often, but you sort of pull a lever of like, I need your attention.
But I've said it so many times, and I'm going to say it again, and this will not be the last time I say it. It's okay to apologize. Like, if you don't apologize and own up to your mistakes, you look like an even bigger douche.
I was really taken aback by it, to be honest, because I thank God for the life that we've had, even though like hasn't been perfect by any means. It's been messy at times for sure. But I sat there and I looked around and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I would have never seen this. I would have never been a part of this. I don't think any of this maybe would have happened had I not started Dad Edge, because what's up, gentlemen? Welcome to the Dad Edge podcast. I'm Larry Hagner. I am your host and founder of this podcast, this show and movement. And my God, I'm so excited. This is becoming, well, this is now my favorite show of the week. What's up?
I would agree. What's up?
What's up? Yeah, not the speed I'm walking. I can tell you that right now.
Well, I think you're doing a lot better than most people, honestly.
I don't know, man. Like this is a gnarly injury.
No, it's not. I don't know. It's I know you're doing better than most people right now.
Well, I appreciate that, man. So, hey, real quick, let's do this. Let's do a couple things.
Okay.
Number one, let's let the guys know what today's show is all about, and then
right.
also we're gonna give a shout out to our show sponsor today because, man, they're just so generous and they're one of the best companies on the planet as far as supplements go, in my opinion. But what we're doing here, gents, is if you've ever wanted to teach your kids extreme ownership, right, and basically owning their own mistakes, right? Whatever they did wrong, it's like, hey, it wasn't my fault. I wanted to do that over there, and it was that guy's fault over there. Like, that's how I figure, like, you know, young kids talk. But like versus like, hey, yes, there was some wrongdoing, no excuses. This is what happened. So we're talking today about what it means to not only teach extreme ownership, but exemplify it and then execute it. And I think it really starts with us. It starts with being the father. And I'll tell you, this is a scary topic for us dads. Do you want to know why?
Why is that?
Well, I'll tell you. Actually, before we even give a shout out to our show sponsor, let me ask you this question, and then you give your opinion, because I actually don't know. But here's what a lot of parents think, not just men and not just women, moms and dads, but I think most parents kind of feel this way, that, man, like, parents mess up like we do. I mean, I mess up every day. I think every parent messes up every day, but there's a fear, I think, in a lot of us that, well, if I apologize, well, then I lose credibility with my kid, because then he knows that I did that thing wrong, and that's embarrassing. And then how is that kid going to take me seriously if he knows that I messed up? So there's like this credibility factor to it, you know, and that's what a lot of guys are afraid of. But, and I don't know if you know this or not, but I mean, I grew up in an environment where I'm right, you're wrong. Moms don't apologize. Dads don't apologize. Kids are the ones who make mistakes, period. I'm not kidding. There was never an apology. You know, maybe once in a while, I don't know, but I don't really remember. But that was the overall theme. But what do you think of that?
I don't like that at all.
Why not?
That's so egotistical. Like, I'm in charge. I'm right. You're wrong. You're just a little kid. You don't know what you're talking about. Like,
Is that the way you think us parents talk?
yes.
Like in our internal dialogue?
Yeah, you talk like this.
He was standing where I wanted to stand.
So I punched
him in the head. Yeah. So, but let me ask you this. Like, when parents apologize for wrongdoing, do we earn more credibility in your eyes, or do we lose it?
Oh, you guys earn way more credibility. Like, I've said this so many times to, like, on like your calls, and I said it, I think, on a few podcasts here and there. But I've said it so many times, and I'm going to say it again, and this will not be the last time I say it. It's okay to apologize. Like, if you don't apologize and own up to your mistakes, you look like an even bigger douche.
Are you calling your parents a douche?
No, because you guys aren't douches.
Yeah, we aren't. We are not. But no, I get what you're saying,
yeah.
though. Yeah, it's I don't think it feels good when someone, I think there's like a self-awareness factor to it. Like, if someone's not self-aware enough that they did wrong, that's even a bigger thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Okay, so let's stop there for a second. I want to give a shout out to our show sponsor, which is First Form. This company, man, I've been a customer there since 2009, since you were 3.
Wow.
Yeah,
Since they were like established.
actually, it's funny. First Form came out in 2009, and that's when Andy Frisella, the Frisella guys, they came out with their own products. But I was going to supplement superstores like when they bought out Attilio's like a supplement place, the one in Mid Rivers, like in 1999. And I'm there, like, my friend Jason Rulo.
Yeah.
And so we used to go to the supplement place called Attilio's, and it was cheap supplements. So we went there all the time. I'll never forget when my friend Jason called me, and he's like, dude, Attilio's got bought out. It's now called Supplement Superstores. And I was like, what's that? He's like, oh man, it's awesome. They got all kinds of stuff in there. The people who work there are awesome. It's really, really great. It's awesome. So I started going there back in literally in the early 2000s. So but been a customer there since First Form since 2009. And I got to tell you, the products that I take right now, and I'm also rehabbing my knee, but I'm taking a lot of different products right now. I start my day every single day with one of their electrolyte packets and a scoop of creatine. Creatine, in my opinion, is one of the cheapest and most beneficial supplements on the market. Great for cognitive health, great for keeping muscle mass. Right now, I'm still taking it, even though I can't really train right now. But start off with that. Also start off with Microfactor. I also start off with 1 capsule of DB Overdrive just for energy. I've now incorporated a double dose of reds and greens just for more micronutrients for healing and recovery. I've never taken collagen, and now I've started that too. So I've started a scoop of collagen in my evening drink, meaning I take this, it's called Moon Brew.
Yeah.
And I take that right before bed, and I put a scoop of collagen in that just for tissue repair. But I'll tell you, they're awesome over there. You guys got to check them out if you haven't. If you use our code, which is if you go to firstform.com/dadedge, any orders over $75, you'll get free shipping. Any orders over $150, I think they're now throwing in it's either a 4-pack or a 12-pack. Sometimes it changes, of energy drinks. And then I think it's $250 or more. They give you a free t-shirt. But the coolest thing too is they stand behind the products, which is if you're not satisfied with something, they give you 110% of your money back.
Wow.
Yeah, so they give you 100% of your money back, and they give you 10% more just for your trouble. And I'm like, dude, that's pretty cool. So not to mention the fact their stuff tastes great. But
yeah.
So go check them out, guys. That's our show sponsor. But let's get into today's show, which is ownership. And I want to talk to you about this. So, over the years, I'll tell you, man, when I've done some wrongdoing and when I know I need to apologize, in the beginning, that was hard for me. And it was hard for me because of that reason I was telling you. I thought well, if I go and apologize to Ethan, he's probably going to think I don't have my stuff together as a father and as a leader. And he's probably going to think whatever I'm doing, he's going to question it, because obviously I'm a person who makes mistakes, because for some crazy reason, we put ourselves on a pedestal of parenting that we have to do this flawlessly. We have to do it perfect. It's kind of like you being in school and you expect 100% on every assignment, every test, every exam, no questions asked. And if you get a 99%, well, then you're less than. So you know what I mean? And it's a pretty high standard.
That is a really high standard.
But let me ask you this, from your perspective, let's actually even take a situation. Can you think of a situation where I really messed up and then I came and apologized? And let's break it down in detail. Let's make your dad look pretty bad here.
Actually,
there's so many.
There's so many. There is one, actually. And this was a really rough year for all of us.
Oh, God.
This was in our old house at 611.
I love how you just so you guys know, in our family, we've lived in 3 houses, and it's either 22, 611, or where we live, which is 1.
Yeah. We always go by the house number and not by the street or anything.
Yeah.
We're not going to say the street.
Yeah, don't say the street.
I'm not going to say the street. Yeah. But anyways, in our other house, and I was in a different school. This was when I was in 4th grade. This is also when you were having your sleep problems.
Oh, God. All right, that was awful.
And this is also whenever I was struggling really badly in school, and it was just hard.
I think I know what you're talking about.
So this is whenever you were helping me on one of my study guides. I think it was math. I can't remember. And I was doing really well. I was doing okay, and then all of a sudden I got stuck. I just had like a I don't know I don't know what to call it. Like a roadblock, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, my brain is having a huge brain fart. I don't know exactly what I'm doing right now. I need to like be retaught almost on like how to do this again. But then you're like, this is not that hard. We just did it a few pages ago. What? Like you're just getting all mad and
Yeah.
like you were starting to yell a little bit. And at dinner time, you you were like being very apologetic, and I think it was Mason who caught you saying, "I'm a terrible dad."
Oh,
So
yeah. I don't know if I do remember that.
yeah, you were like, so basically when you were apologizing, Mason goes, "Yeah, whenever you left and went to your room, Dad said that he was a terrible dad." I was like, What?" And honestly, you were very hard on yourself a lot.
It hasn't changed.
I don't know. I feel like you were really rough on yourself, like when you were first starting.
Can I ask you a question? Was this? I kind of remember this. I think I got actually so frustrated that I was sitting next to you on the dinner table, and I think I did this. I banged the table, didn't I?
I think so.
I remember that.
Yeah, that scared me a little.
Yeah.
But you were like, eventually you told me to go to my room, or I just left or something. I didn't just leave. You told me to.
And you were, if I remember right, you were pretty upset,
Oh, I was really upset.
like crying, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, those were really rough times for me. Like, I don't know what was up during third grade. I literally had A honor roll, and then
It's
fourth
not good
grade.
enough around here, man.
Oh, hush. I'm so sorry I don't make you proud.
The standard is the honor roll at all times.
But I didn't make any honor rolls in fourth grade. I was struggling like crazy. We were worried that I was going to have to redo fourth grade, and that scared me.
God, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and my teacher was not great at all. I'm not going to say who it was, but
Yeah.
she was just not a great teacher. She was very hard on all of us, especially me. I feel like I was kind of targeted, honestly. But we were just like I was just struggling, and then obviously with your sleep problems, I don't think it was 100% your fault. I think it was also a lot had to do with your sleep problem that you had.
Well, I think my responses, my reactions are my that's my responsibility. Like, I need to own that. And I think every parent or human being needs to own their reactions. You know, it's like people like to play the blame game, like, well, it was my sleep, or it was this, or it was that, or whatever. But just to add something to that, just from a dad perspective as well, the thing, I remember that now. I remember the whole thing about like this fear of you repeating the fourth grade. And that anger actually came from that fear of watching you fail. And there's even like there's this thing, and I think you'll probably see it when you're a father as well, that you always feel that you have some sort of ownership with your kids, that this is my fault that he's having this problem. This is my fault that he can't figure this out. And what am I doing wrong? Which makes the problem even worse, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, keep going.
But basically, like, like I was saying, like, you were pretty hard on yourself a lot. Like when you were having your good moments, you would apologize, but then I also knew how much you would talk so down at yourself that you'd be like, "I'm such a terrible dad. I'm such an awful parent. Like I'm failing my kid. I'm also yelling at him. Yada yada yada." And like Mason totally called you out like on that night. Like I was literally like, "It's okay, Dad. I forgive you. It's okay. We're past that point. We got the study guide done. We can move on now." And then Mason goes, "Yeah, Dad also said when you left that he's a terrible dad." And I looked at you funny. I was like, "Well, how dare you call yourself that?" But I was also like, most out of all seriousness, I was just like, "Why would you say that to yourself?" Because most of the time, I didn't think you were a bad dad. I just thought you had your really bad moments, and they've definitely gotten like you have not had as many horrible moments ever since we moved in here, but you had some very rough moments in our other house.
I did. Yeah.
Like I honestly felt you had a bit of a temper issue.
I did. I
So-
did. I've said this for 10 years, the this mission is for everybody else, and this mission is also 100% for me.
Yeah.
Like, can I share something with you?
You okay?
No. I hate like this. This got me yesterday. So just to kind of bring you guys into our world a little bit, Ethan's last day of school was yesterday, which was
Whoop, whoop.
whoop whoop is
I'm
right.
done.
Well, yeah, congratulations, by the way. That's awesome. Done with high school. But right, here's the thing. What is today's date? May what?
It is May 21st.
Okay. So May 20th was yesterday. It was your last day of school, and I'm just gonna say this, guys. I'm married to I really outkicked my coverage with my wife. Like, she is the best freaking woman on the planet. I was working all day yesterday, and I saw out of my office that Jessica was really working on something. And I knew she was doing some sort of picture thing for you, but I did not know to the extreme. Our entire upstairs, I don't even know how many photos, but she taped. There's got to be 250 at least of
I don't
you.
even know if that's like. I feel like there's more.
I think there might be, like, they're everywhere. They're all over. They're the fridge, the kitchen, the walls, and like even like she made this huge banner for you, graduate 2025 with your senior pictures. But then she had every single class picture of you from preschool all the way to high school, and then all these photos of everything that we've done over the years. And I didn't tell you this, but the reason I kind of got a little choked up there is because I was looking at all of these photos and all of these adventures and all of these memories, and I was really taken aback by it, to be honest, because I thank God for the life that we've had, even though like it hasn't been perfect by any means. It's been messy at times for sure. But I sat there and I looked around and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, I would have never seen this. I would have never been a part of this. I don't think any of this maybe would have happened had I not started Dad Edge, because I was going down such a bad road of like not knowing what the heck I was doing. Like, I don't think we would have lived this life that we've had. So I want to share that with you, because like this mission, I think is definitely for the imperfect dads, the dads who just don't have it together, like the knuckleheads, right? It's kind of like what does Steve Jobs say? He says, it's the degenerates, it's the imperfect ones, the ones that challenge the status quo, right? It's the ones that we're imperfect, but we're searching for that vision of fulfillment and doing things right. So yeah, it was. But in that season, going back to this, that was a rough season for me. That was a rough season for us. I think we were kind of living in a house that none of us really wanted to be in. You guys, I think, were in kind of school settings and stuff like that really wasn't a good thing for you. There was also some friend drama at that age for you guys as well. Yeah.
Oh, it was bad.
It was. I mean, there was just a lot of really, like, it wasn't anything sort of catastrophic, but it was like everyone had like a death of 1,000 cuts. And then add to it, we had a third kid and a fourth kid in that house. So we were adding to our family, and it was like, whoa, right?
What is going on?
Right. But yeah, keep going.
But basically, like, back to what I was saying, like, you were very hard on yourself. And I was like, in that moment, I was just like, why would you say that about yourself? But like, cause I didn't like see you that as like a horrible person. Sure, you had your bad moments, but I never saw you as a bad dad. I just saw you as a guy who just got a little mad.
I did. But the thing is that I remember growing up, and I remember like just the anger energy that was always there, and always walking on eggshells. Yeah. And I always like just came super down on myself when I would slip up with you guys. But going back to that, I actually, to be honest, I don't remember that night of apologizing. Did I apologize? Okay. Yeah. So what happened that night?
So I remember a lot of it very, very vividly. So after the whole homework incident, I went to my room. It was like dinner time. We were all eating as a family, and there wasn't a whole lot of tension, but I could tell something was a little off with you. And then you finally apologized. And I went over to you, and I hugged you.
At the dinner table?
Yeah, I literally got up out of my seat in the middle of dinner time. I gave you a hug, and I was like, Dad, it's okay. I forgive you. And then Mason called you out, and then you looked at me, you were like, yeah, I said that about myself. Yeah. I was like, Dad, don't be so hard on yourself. but I don't exactly remember what I said, like word for word, but I was basically like, why would you say that? Like, don't be so hard on yourself, basically. Like, but that year, I mean, sure, you apologized, but there was still some pretty rough moments that year. Can I say something?
Yeah.
I remember a few times I would come home crying from school because I'd be so scared to come home to deal with your anger.
Really?
Yes,
So what were you afraid of?
just yelling the the criticisms, the you're gonna fail fourth grade and you're gonna have to retake it. That
So
was, I
so I
mean,
was like really on your butt about
oh
that.
yeah, like I remember nights when you would come say goodnight to me and it would be more like a lecture,
Yeah.
and you'd be like, "Am I allowed to cuss on this?"
Um
I'll modify it. I won't cuss.
okay.
But I do remember this one night you said, "You better get your freaking mind together. Like you cannot redo fourth grade." I like after you left, I bawled my eyes out. I cried myself to
Yeah,
sleep.
I actually do remember that.
But like, because I remember like sometimes my teacher would email you guys about like the things I wouldn't be doing. I would be like, oh no, I'm gonna have to deal with that again. And I would come home crying.
I know what you're talking about. I mean, I struggled big time in school too,
Yeah,
and I always knew, man, so we didn't have email growing up,
yeah,
but we had notes that we brought home from the
yeah,
teacher.
yeah,
And then we had to hand that to my mom. And I'm like, and the same thing. I'd be like, oh God. And I'd hear the garage door go up and I'd be like, can I go hide somewhere like this? I think so. Here's what I'll say about that. Yeah, I there really isn't. There's no excuse to speak to you like that,
yeah,
at all. And I think some of us, and even me at times, like I think, how do I say this? Like as a father, I think sometimes, rarely, very rarely, you don't do it often, but you sort of pull a lever of like, I need your attention, right? Like, I really need you to take this seriously.
yeah,
Like, this is not a joke, right? However, the delivery of that was less than.
yeah,
It could have been handled way, way better, right?
yeah. Like I know, like first of all, I want to say that you've always been way better about that. Like obviously, I didn't repeat fourth grade, and I've been thriving for most like ever since I got to this point. Like I finally finished high school. I just had my last day yesterday. I'm about to graduate in June, and
It's awesome, by the way.
thanks. Um, but sure, we've had our moments still. Like I remember my sophomore year, we kind of went at each other. We headbutted each other a few times. Do you remember that? It
Well,
was
not like for real though, right?
no, not actually. I'm speaking like like
You were standing where I want to stand.
take that.
No, yeah, tell me about that. What were we doing?
So I remember like, and this was actually every 4 years of high school, like all 4 years of high school, freshman year to senior year. Sorry, I went through just phases, and it was always in the springtime. Always in the springtime. It was never in the fall. It was never in the winter time. It was never when I had marching band, or wrestling. It was always when I didn't have anything in the spring because I didn't do track. Well, I did my freshman and sophomore year, but I didn't really stick to it. But it was always in the spring. It was also just like, I'm burnt out. I'm ready for the year to be over. It's already the second half of the school year. I'm ready to be done. And I would start to slack. And my sophomore year was probably the worst year about that because I was like on I was this close to having to redo my sophomore year as well because I was taking a bunch of hard classes that I've never taken before. I was taking classes that freshmen would normally take, but I'm not the fastest learner when it comes to algebra or biology. That stuff was hard. I was not the easiest student with that stuff. So I would struggle really badly. And sophomore year, second semester, it just got harder, and it almost seemed like it was unfair. But
Yeah.
like we went through that phase once again, and this time it was really rough because my grades were awful. I don't even remember them, but I remember they were really, really bad. Missing a lot of assignments. But here's the here's the funny thing about some of that. that was also the same year we went to LA and Vegas. Do you remember that?
Of course I do. Yeah, I was on Brad Lee's
Yeah,
podcast,
that's
and
right.
I brought you with
No,
me.
that was summer before freshman year. This was when we went and you interviewed when John Bernthal.
Oh,
interviewed.
Bernthal, yeah,
And
that's
then
right.
we went
Yeah.
to Vegas for that other show. Do you remember that?
Oh, that's when I was on the TV show,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, with David Meltzer's show,
Yep.
The Office Hours.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That's when, and that was also the year we went shooting guns
We
out of
did.
helicopters.
We
That was
did.
pretty fun. Recommend that.
Gunship helicopters. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So, can we tell that story really
Yeah,
quick?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
We'll tell that story, and then what I want to do is I want to finish up talking about like, so you've seen me like obviously screw up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You've seen me screw up horrifically. You've also seen me apologize, but then I want to cast the light on you,
Yeah.
and how you handle your screw ups, because they're remarkable.
Oh,
They really are. Like, and one, you know, we just went through one, and it was over text, and sure enough, I was like, I wonder how Ethan's going to respond. And sure enough, it was, I have no excuse. Like, this is what it was. But yeah, anyway, so Ethan and I went out to Vegas. Was Vegas and LA the same trip? Did we go from one to the other?
We went from it was like a week
That's right.
trip, and then we stayed in like LA for like 2 days.
That's
one
right.
night. And then as soon as we were done with the interview, I think we immediately flew over to Vegas.
We did. That's right.
I think that's how it went. And then you did your TV show stuff.
That was the craziest thing. Like, that was the craziest week I think I've ever.
That was
this
also
mission.
the most fun trip I've ever
It
had
was.
with me and you.
That was so much fun.
Like, we've had a lot of great trips, but that one was so much fun.
That was cool. So we went out to, that was in 2023, I think. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I was on the real ones with John Bernthal. So we flew out there, we met him, hung out with him for half a day, and I was on his podcast.
Yep.
And that in and of itself was like one of the coolest things ever.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
just, and I'll tell you guys, man, Bernthal, what you see is what you get. That guy is a real dude. Like, that guy, like, you go have a beer with that guy. Like, he is just one of the coolest cats on the planet.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and his dog, Bam Bam. Oh, my God. That dog,
Bam, bam.
he just kept nudging me to pet him underneath that table. It was so funny. And then, yeah, so we did that. Then we went to Vegas because I was on this show with David Meltzer called Office Hours. And then we had some fun in Vegas. And then the most random crazy thing happened. I got this Facebook message from, and you know who you are, Nathan. Thank you so much. I got this random Facebook message from Nathan. Never met the guy. Hey man, I'm a huge fan of your show. I see that you're in Vegas with your son. You've changed my life through your podcast. I'd really like to do something nice for you. I am I'm the head of entertainment over at Planet Hollywood. I handle all the concerts and all this other stuff. Keith Urban's going to be here on Friday.
Oh my gosh, I remember that.
Yeah, he's like, I'd like to set you and your son up with VIP tickets to the concert, and I also want to set you up in a 360-degree room in Planet Hollywood. And I screenshotted this message, and I was like, this has to be a joke. And I sent it to your mom, and I was like, do you think this is for real? And she's like, I don't know. And so anyway, me and him, I was like, are you being serious? And we went back and forth. And I was like, can we talk? And then nicest guy in the world. And he's like, listen, man, I just want to pay it forward. That's all. He's like, you don't owe me a thing. You've given me so much just through your podcast alone. Just, I'd like to do this for you. And and I called your mom, and I was like, what do I say to this? And she's like, just say yes. Just say yes to it. Like, someone wants to do something nice, just say yes. And so I did. And so we were in, here's where the story was. So we went to that social thing after the TV show thing.
It was at Top Golf, right?
That was at Top Golf. And there was a bunch of bigwigs there, but we asked a couple of the locals because we were there for another day and we had nothing to do. Like, we had done everything like as family friendly in Vegas. And we talked to that guy, remember? And we were like, is there anything to do here? What did he say?
He's like, yeah, I think there's a few things. And you could go like shoot guns out of a helicopter. And we're just like,
I was like,
we were like, what? Oh, you say it like it's such a casual thing, like you've done it like before.
Yeah.
But he was just like, yeah, you can shoot like these turrets out of a helicopter, and they have many more things. And we Googled it, we got our tickets, and we found out that you could also shoot 50 cal sniper rifles.
Yep. Flamethrowers.
Flamethrowers. You could go through like a little like course, like shoot dummies.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Oh, it was crazy. It was an hour, like in the middle of the desert. I remember calling this place, and I'm like, hey, I was like, so how long is it an Uber ride there? And they're like, you have to rent a car. There's no Ubers that come out here. She's like, you're actually going to be on a dirt road for 4 miles before you even hit this place. You're going to think you're in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, we show up and you go up in a helicopter and you're shooting a machine gun at targets on the ground.
Yeah.
And it's
sandbags and a few dummies here and there, or even just at the mountain itself.
Yeah.
Like they're just like, shoot down there, go
Yeah.
for it, go crazy.
It was nuts.
But obviously you had to be really safe about it. They're very safe precautions. They're like, they took care of it. They took care of us very well and everything.
I just have a question though. Why were you screaming like Rambo when you were shooting the gun?
I wasn't, but that's funny.
Oh my God. That was so much fun. Okay. But so back to extreme ownership,
Yes.
right? So let's talk about this. So like one of the cool things that, I mean, I've got to learn a lot out of this mission and movement. And one thing that I've learned is like how powerful it is that if you want your kids to be a certain way, and this happened, you know, that you got to show by example, but I got to really shine the light on you. Like, I don't know how much you learned that from me. I'm not taking credit for that. I think that's just part of who you are. But for someone who, when you mess up, like there's no BS excuses, like, and which shows me so much awareness. So like, I want you to give an example of like just how you have responded when I'm like, hey man, like this is what happened. Like, this is what I'm thinking about it, whatever. And then you respond with sometimes like, usually I think what most dads are expecting is a fight. And no, it was this, it was that, it was this, it was that. It wasn't me. It was this. You're not like that.
Not anymore, at least.
Yeah.
I don't learn from that.
I don't really remember a time where you weren't though.
Actually, I can give you a perfect example from this year.
That you didn't own it?
No, that I did.
Okay.
I think you're gonna love this. Actually,
Let's hear it.
So this is my senior year. I've actually been like, I've noticed that this year I've taken more accountability to myself. Like, you weren't really like, get your head in the game, man. Come on. I was more like, I gotta get my head in the game. Like, I gotta get going. Like, time to snap back into it. So I took initiative to myself. What I would do is first semester, this is English class, my grade was slipping a little bit because I wasn't holding myself accountable to prioritizing my time to the homework. And my grades were starting to show. Like, it was just slowly plummeting. It was from a B to a C, and got down to a D, and then very on the brink to an F. I was like, I gotta get back into it. Like, I shouldn't have waited this long, but I gotta get back into it. And I emailed my teacher, because what I started doing this year is, if I was like struggling to get my grades back up, I would email them. But here's what I would say. I wouldn't be like, hey, make sure you get my grades in whenever I turn in these missing assignments. I wouldn't do that. What I would do is I'd be like, hey, so-and-so, I'm not going to say who it was. I'm like, hey, I just want to come to you and send this email really quick and just say, I'm really sorry. I want to apologize because I haven't been holding my end of the bargain of getting my assignments turned in. I haven't been prioritizing my time. That is no excuse, and I don't deserve to have even half credit whenever I turn in these missing assignments. But I just want to let you know, I'm going to get these assignments done ASAP, and I'll let you decide on how you want to grade them. And if it means I don't get the grade I want, then that's fair, because I don't deserve it. I wasn't prioritizing my time. I have absolutely zero excuse for my lack of effort, and I'm really sorry, and I will do better this year. And I did. And
how did your teachers respond to that? Because the story I'm telling myself is teachers don't get emails like that.
No, I don't. I mean, I'm sure there's some of them that would, but I can't imagine how common that is.
Yeah.
But I got an email back that same night. It was like a Friday evening on like 5 p.m. So
yeah, because teachers don't have anything to do on Fridays.
No, not really. Yeah, but I'm making her do the work because
Right.
I'm turning in all these missing assignments. I'm putting more work on her. That's also like why I don't deserve the grade I get. But she emailed me back probably like an hour later. She was like, Ethan, I want to say thank you so much for owning up to your mistakes. This is like ownership to a whole nother level. Thank you for your apology. I will get your grade in, and I will actually give you full credit for it.
Really?
I was like, oh my gosh.
Dude.
Thank you so much.
I'll tell you, man. I mean, so I didn't know what example you were going to share, but I'm so happy you actually shared an example that didn't have anything to do with us and it had to do with the outside world.
Yeah, I wanted to show my example of like this is real life almost. Like, not
Right.
between us. This is between me and my teachers. I had this, actually, I was thinking about this before we even started recording. I was like, I got to share that about
Oh, that's
ownership.
great. Yeah.
So, and
Dude, I love that example.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'll tell you, man, so now that you're graduating high school, you're going to be a firefighter,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you, your crew, your brothers,
Mm-hmm.
right? Your brothers in your firefighting house, like they will give you so much more respect when you do stuff like that versus like, no, man, it was your fault.
Yeah.
No, man, it was that thing over there, right? But like extreme ownership, people are much more likely, I think, to give you grace and give you forgiveness and even give you like quote unquote full credit.
Yeah.
If you own things versus like fight things. And do you think the story I'm telling myself, Ethan, is young people your age, that is not common. That's not common. I mean, it's not even common for adults, I think, sometimes, but it definitely isn't common, I don't think, for your generation.
Honestly, I have no idea, but I can't say, oh, yeah, that's not common. I'm not trying to be like better than, I don't know who does that, but honestly, I can't imagine that is a very common thing in my like class, really.
Yeah.
But actually, this actually just came to mind. If you don't mind me sharing it real quick.
Go for it.
But here's another thing. Like, this is kind of like what other people do. I didn't realize that people actually did this. My freshman year, I was in my English class, and my English teacher, this is a different English teacher, my freshman year, she had to tell us twice because she had a discussion with us about this twice because people wouldn't stop doing this. She actually got emails from other students in my graduating class that people would send, I wouldn't say necessarily hurtful messages like emails, but like they would put in all caps, they would cuss in them. They wouldn't cuss her out, but they would be like, where's my freaking like grade, like those kinds of things. And I was like, people actually talk to teachers like that over email? And I'd be like, what?
Good luck at when you went with that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're just going to get ignored.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, she was like, listen, you guys, like, I'm all for helping you guys get your grades back, but do it in a nicer way. Like, the way you guys message me with the all caps, the cussing, the being disrespectful.
The cussing, that blows my mind.
I was like, wait, people actually do that? What is wrong with people? Like,
Dude.
why would you that? No matter how much I hate the teacher, I wouldn't be that disrespectful.
No.
Like, even with the teachers I didn't like, I still got a signature from them in my yearbook. I was like, it's been a hard year with you being around, but I got through it.
Yeah.
Can you sign my yearbook?
Did they sign it in all caps?
No. And I wasn't the one signing.
No,
I wasn't the one writing emails to them in all caps. I
Right.
was respectful and cordial with them. And
Dude, that just would have never flown. Like when I grew up, I went to an all boys Catholic Jesuit high school.
yeah,
And I mean, like if you would have done that where I went to school, I mean, like I my wrestling coach, we called him the Bear.
oh man.
And man, and he taught English and math. And
Wait, what?
He did. He was the
You didn't
wrestling.
tell me that.
Yeah, I was in both of those classes, English and math with him. And dude, you did not act up in this guy's class. I'll never forget. I'll spare his last name for embarrassment. His first name was Brian.
Oh man.
And he was just a crap disturber. And I'll tell you, man, he acted up one day, and the Bear walked over and picked this kid up in his desk and dumped him out of it, and then grabbed him by the back of the collar and drug him out into the hall. And we were like, oh, we're never acting. It's just scared. You do that now and there's a lawsuit. But oh my God, yeah, you just didn't mess with teachers when we grew up, man. Like now it's like, like you guys, like it's like you guys can get away with like murder sometimes. I'm glad you guys are. I'm glad you're respectful.
Oh, yeah.
Because, man, you will get so much further in life if you just treat people with kindness and just treat people with respect, especially, oh my gosh, especially your teachers. And your teachers have a little bit more power over than you, what you want to think. I mean, they're calling the shots on your grades. So,
yeah.
But anyway, like I think that's a great example, man. Well, as we head out of here today, This is a big week for you, and I know that this particular show is launching in the middle of June. So like the audience is catching it. A couple weeks when we recorded it. But what does it feel like? What does it feel like right now? Like what does your life feel like? Like last day of school was yesterday, and now you're gonna head off to EMT school and paramedic school. But like you're done with high school. Like what does that feel like?
I don't even know. Yesterday, it really just felt like another day of high school.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just a break right now. But it hasn't hit me, the fact that I won't be going back to high school ever again because I passed all my classes. But it just hasn't hit me. Like, we do this traditional thing. I don't know if other schools do it, but we do this at our school, a traditional thing called a bridge walk.
The bridge walk, yeah.
Your freshman year, you are being applauded into the building. You cross this bridge that we have on our school campus, where you cross a bridge and go inside the building. And then they do it for the seniors, where you walk out of the building. And I just did that yesterday, and I was kind of remembering my freshman year. I was like, man, I remember walking into the building, and now I'm walking out of the building.
Did it fly by?
Yes.
Like really fast?
Honestly, I look back into it, it feels like it flew by. But then I really start to think about it. I'm like, man, it also took a long time. But it really felt like it flew by because that was 4 years. I started high school in 2021. It's 2025.
Why do you have kids?
Oh,
It really flies. Like,
I'm sure.
Truth be told, another reason why I got emotional yesterday looking at all these photos, I can't believe how fast it's gone. I really can't. Like, I really took a look at some baby pictures, that I remember taking. And I took a look at like these little pictures, man, when you were like in first grade. And I remember them I remember those times, like some of those times so clearly in those photos. And when people tell you that your life starts to fly by when you have kids, like they're like, man, hold on to it, it goes so fast. They lie. Because it goes way faster than what you think. Like it used to annoy me when people would be like, it flies by. You better just soak it in. Yeah, that's an understatement because you blink and it's gone. You literally blink and it's gone. So I just want to say as we close this show out, number one, I'm super excited and I'm so honored to do this podcast with you. Like this is like one of the photos that I saw up there was when you were on a podcast with me when you were like, I think third or fourth grade.
I was just sitting there. I was just like,
yeah, you were. And, but I'll tell you, just, this is such an honor just watching you become like this good, honorable young man with character and integrity and respect for others and how you operate with ownership. And I'll tell you, I think we gave the audience a really good bird's eye view of, really bad things that dads can do and how we can recover and how not only you can recover, but how like, I think what you did with the email with your teachers was like something really proactive, like just something, it was ownership, but proactive ownership, and treating people well. So good for you, man.
Yeah. But I know you're like shining a huge light on me, but I'm going to like kind of dim that light for myself real quick. But I just want to say I wasn't perfect at this stuff. I was definitely like, I had my moments, but obviously, like with the whole email stuff, I wouldn't be that disrespectful. But there were some moments where I was not the greatest student. This is because of those things I've gotten where I am now.
Cool,
so I can't just take all that kind of credit without saying that I've made so many mistakes too. So
well, you can't get out of this life without a lot of mistakes.
That's true.
Yeah, it's what you do with those mistakes.
Yeah,
you learn from them or keep making them.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah, man. Well, guys, this is all we got time for today. I hope you enjoyed today. I know I did. Did you?
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome.
I love this.
Me too. I hope you enjoyed today. I got a couple of resources for you guys. If you guys are new to the podcast, I have enough podcasts there for you that last you at least 10 years because there's over 1,300 and a decade of content for you. You can find out everything we're doing over at thedadedge.com. If you guys want to check out what we're doing over at the Mastermind over in the Alliance and the Boardroom. The Alliance is for our career guys. The Boardroom is for all you business owners out there. So head on over to thedadedge.com/mastermind. And don't forget our sponsor today. They're incredible. If you're out there, you're trying to be a healthier dad, you don't have to look any further. Head on over to firstform.com/dadedge. Again, 1stphorm.com/dad edge. Guys, from my heart to yours, thank you so much for tuning in today. Ethan, this is such an honor. Thank you for coming in, man.
Of course. Thank you for letting me do this.
Of course. Letting you, man, this is an honor. It's a privilege.
I love doing this, honestly.
You know what's really cool about this is as we close out of here, the cool thing about podcasts is they're evergreen. They're always there. So the cool thing, you can be 35, 40 years old, and maybe I'm dead and gone, and you can come back and listen to these shows that you and I did, and we can remember beautiful conversations like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love that, actually.
Yeah, man. I love it. All right, guys, go out. Live legendary. Take care.